relationship, illustrate how the constructs are conceptually linked with the theoretical framework. So, why one construct is expected to influence another grounded in the theory. That means how the constructs are interlinked in the theoretical framework that needs to be specifically highlighted. And for that, I have used this example. According to TAM, perceived usefulness and perceived ease of use are the two primary drivers of attitudes towards using a technology which subsequently influence behavioral intentions. That means while doing that, avoid superficial connection like X affects Y. Instead use phrases that are very important. Rather, those phrases needs to be such that it can be included in hypothesis, or you can establish it in respect to the construct as mediator or moderator, that the relationship that exists between. So, theoretical framework. So, the theoretical framework builds the conceptual model, visual blueprint. Here, you should clarify with clarity, not with the help of AI, but I should say with the help of Python. If possible, you should draw a model, and that model, that the flowchart of the model needs to be clearly mentioned, and all the arrows should highlight how each variables are interlinked in your study and actually what you want to establish, because this is the one which gives you the privilege to establish your hypothesis in your study. Otherwise, it will create a problem. So, from here the example is robot design to perceived trust to customer satisfaction, robot anthropomorphism to emotional engagement to purchase intake. Just I am showing you a paper of mine where I am very clearly mentioned, just a minute, where I can able to show you what the model should really mean. Is my screen visible?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
See, while you will going to establish your proposed framework, you should establish it like this way. If you can establish it in this way, it makes sense, because it not only brings clarity, rather it helps to visualize which construct is connected to whom and how. Moreover, it not only helps you to understand what are the mediating variables, but what are the sequential relationship that is actually there in the study, that you can also able to establish from this model. So this proposed model should clearly mention everything. There there should not be any roughness. It should be such that the reviewer, when they will see this model, they will understand what you actually want to establish through your research. Rather, they will get interested with your work and they want more from your study, which will help to make your paper giving more chance to be accepted in a high indexed journal. So, see, you have to frame hypotheses. Again, I am showing you through this paper how you need to write the hypothesis. Before moving on to the next part, it is very important that your hypothesis should be clearly mentioned. This is a paper that has been selected in knowledge and support management. This is Wiley paper and it has both Scopus and it is also SCI indexed. So see how I have written. If you see, I actually establish the relationship between the constructs, and from that construct I have established the hypothesis. I have established the hypothesis from that constructs only. After establishing the relationship, I have categorically mentioned my hypothesis. And please do not use any ironical word while writing the hypothesis. It should be clear. That is, vendor selection mechanism positively influences supply chain clarity. Vendor selection mechanism positively influences innovation and technology integration. Vendor selection mechanism positively influences cost optimizations. See again, in the right side of the paper, supply chain capabilities and performance optimizations. Actually, here also, I have established the relationship between the constructs. And from that construct, I have written the hypothesis. If you do not write the hypothesis like this way, it does not make any sense. Or it is better to say, or the reviewers will not accept your paper in a very good way. They will straightaway reject it. So, while writing theoretical foundation, you need to have a clear-cut idea. Maintain terminological consistency. Do not switch between the terms. Avoid descriptive listing of theories. Cite recent empirical studies. Ensure your theories align with your research design. In summary, your theoretical framework is not a literature term. It is a strategic narrative that explains your research logic. It positions your work within our recognized scholarly traditions while creating space for your unique contributions. In Q1 journal, a clear, cohesive, and conceptually rich theoretical framework signals academic rigor and earns respect from reviewers. So, while writing the methodology section is the engine room of your research paper. It not only explains how the study was conducted, but also establishes the scientific credibility and reproducibility of your findings. In journals, reviewers pay special attention to methodological rigor, looking for clarity, justifications, and alignment with the research questions or hypotheses. A strong methodology section should be detailed enough to enable replication, transparent enough to build trust, and justified enough to demonstrate sound decision making throughout the research process. So it should follow, or rather it should go like this way. So research design, state the overall approach and justify why it fits your research goals. Is it quantitative? Is it qualitative? Or is it a mixed method approach? Is it an exploratory one? Is it a descriptive? Is it exploratory? Or there exists a causal relationship? Reviewers often expect a brief justification. For example, cross-sectional design suits hypothesis testing with large samples, while longitudinal or experimental designs support causal inference. Now, methodology sampling. Clearly define the target population. What is your sample size? Where are the locations from where you have collected the samples? Also explain why your sampling method is appropriate. Another thing, you must note it down that there is a free software, G-star power. If you can employ that G-star power or some other software, but G-star software is the latest one, you can able to justify that what sample size is required at least to give justice to the study, and whether your sample size is more than that. That means your sample is more than that is necessary for the study. You need to establish, and for that there is a software called G-star power. It's a free software. You can use it, and if you can use it, you can able to establish the sample size in a very meticulous manner. So methodology instrumentation. List the measurement instruments, indicate whether they are validated scales or newly developed, that is whether they are established scales or not, and describe any adaptations made to suit your context. Always provide citations for validated scales and state reliability scores. If pre-tested, you can only give or show reliability score if only it is pre-tested. Next is data collection. Detail the mode of data collection, the timeline and the environment in which it was conducted. Mention response rates if applicable. If secondary data was used, states the source, time frame, and also for the secondary data set, the reliability of the data set needs to be established by any means. Methodology or ethical consideration. Demonstrate that your study respects ethical standards. This is a critical checkpoint for Q1 journals. If your study includes sensitive data, the example minors health information, mentions additional precautions, please take. So if you take this example, the study was approved by the institution's ethics committee of XYZ universities. All participants provided informed consents, and were assured of anonymity and confidentiality that needs to be clearly mentioned at the fag end of the paper. If you do not mention it, they will ask for amendment. And in the amendment, if you do not mention that, then your paper will not be screened, nor it go. It will straight away get rejected. So how data was interpreted, that is one of the most important part. So here you should describe the software, which software you have specifically used. Again, what statistical techniques you have followed, what analytical framework you used and why you have used that. That means why you have used that particular software, give citations for that, what statistical techniques you have adopted, give citations for that, and even for analytical frameworks, you need to give the citations, because if you give citations, that means it will help to establish your methodology in the most fascinating manner. So now we are moving on to the next slide. Just a minute. Somehow it has been hanged. So how to write the analysis section? So it is one of the most important aspects. You should interpret, not give justification over the analysis section. That means if you are using the primary data, give a table of your demographic profile of the sample size, and you need to categorically mention that. Then you need to go to reliability, after that model fit, then hypothesis, and then the rest. Here I have written what for in bibliometry, because in the next session you will understand, rather you will going to have in-hand experience on how to conduct the bibliometric study. So descriptive statistics begin with a brief summary of the sample characteristics. These includes demographic, response distributions, and any daily relevant descriptive insights. It provides context for interpreting the rest of your results. That means the demographic profile is one of the most important aspects that needs to be highlighted over here. Reliability and validity. See, earlier people only used to give the reliability and validity through Fornell and Larkin. But nowadays, we do not give we do not check only the reliability or validity through Cronbach alpha. We need to follow lots of things. That means composite reliability, AVE, and for recent studies, you need to give